Hello and welcome to Labour Lens. I am Sharon Ijason. On this week's edition of the program, we'll be discussing about the Nigerian Social Insurance Trust Fund and its role towards nation building, especially their role towards workers. We also have new stories for you. We will be right back. In the early hours of the day, oil workers prevented members of staff of Nikonde Energy from gaining entrance into its office in Victoria Island, Lagos.
About 10 years now, we've been trying to engage the company to put up a CBA because with both the labor and the management, we come together and discuss condition of service. It's a given in any industry. And they've been evasive. You know, they keep posting us. They've refused to do that. So that is why we are here today. So what it means is that, yes, can it be avoided? If they had agreed, and we have this document, working document, which is collective bargain agreement, we wouldn't have been here today.
Some of their grievances are non-implementation of collective bargaining agreement, non-remittance of pension deducted from workers' salary, lack of promotion for workers, failure to allow workers to unionize, among others.
Our desire is to make sure that the rights of people by law are instituted and people get their due, what is due to them. With the active participation and involvement of the union, PIA become a reality. With the active participation of the union, critical position that IOCs used to occupy by their experts, Nigerians are now the one occupying it.
The workers and management of Nikonde signed a communique affirming that a new collective bargaining agreement will be reached within 21 working days. Labour leaders here want organizations to allow their workers to unionize, as it is a right and not a privilege.
The nation's health sector has been battling under successive governments to be free from diverse challenges, which Nigerians maintain must be adequately addressed. At the Medical and Health Workers Union of Nigeria, Lagos State Council Delegates Conference, the brain drain syndrome was presented as a major challenge on the list.
We are facing more challenges in terms of worker strength. People who are working, they will falling sick because instead of a job that about 7 people should do, 2 persons are doing it.
The pressure is so much, so we require that governments look at the possibility of routine employment to feed the short manpower.
Due to the current dictates of the nation's economy, the medical and health workers are asking for full implementation of the minimum wage and steady payment of other welfare packages for them to be able to take care of their families. The unionists asked the Lagos State government to maintain a listening ear for synergy in the health sector.
Though we still have challenges, but our requests are being met by stage by stage. I must commend our governor for that.
Delegates to the conference voted in Adelaja Gbadamosi as chairman and Akindele Damola as vice chairman.
The theme of this symposium is Building a Stronger Nigeria Social Insurance Trust Fund. It serves as an avenue for key players to meet minds on ways to improve efficiency by the agency.
We're gathered here today really bound by a shared commitment to the welfare of our citizens. We're acutely aware that the evolving demands of our time require to think out of the box. So our mission is clear. We're to confront and overcome the challenges that have hindered the fund from its full potentials and to pave the way for a more transparent, efficient, and resilient fund and system.
The agency gave a detailed report on the achievements over the years, which includes registration of more than 164,000 employers and 8.4 million employees, as well as payment of claims to 103,292 beneficiaries and promotion of workplace safety. The retreat also aims to foster collaborations, improve understanding and drive policy reforms to facilitate a more productive workforce.
This employees' compensation system, the benefits as demonstrated here, need to be shown on television so that people will now know the need to participate and register in this program. That's what I want to say. So it's a very high point for me in this lecture.
The President desires means well. We and at NSITF must also work hard to support our employers so that both in terms of compensation, both in terms of safety, we're going to make sure we go on company inspection for the safety of our employees wherever they are.
We have assured him the team of our maximum cooperation support. And anywhere where we need to rejig or amend or through any section of the art, we are ready.
They also revealed their plans to include the National Youth Service Corps, NYSC, into its compensation scheme. The retreat underscores the importance of collaborative efforts towards ensuring long-term financial sustainability, risk management practices, and improved service delivery by the Nigerian Social Insurance Trust Fund, which will in turn benefit workers.
On the profile interview segment this week, I'll be speaking with the Managing Director of the Nigerian Social Insurance Trust Fund, NSITF. He explains to us the role of NSITF towards nation building while expatiating on some of the key roles, which are preventive measures, rehabilitation, and also compensation of workers that might have been injured. It's good to have you on the program.
Thank you.
And congratulations on your appointment as the Managing Director of NSITF. It's less than 3 months and a lot has been happening in your sector already. The one I was part of was the collaboration with stakeholders. I wouldn't know if you'd like to give us feedback on what has transpired after that meeting.
You were at the retreat in Lagos, where we gathered our critical stakeholders, the members of the National Assembly, specifically the committees that supervise and undertake oversight activities over us. That's the House Committee on Labor and Productivity and the Senate Committee on Labor and Productivity. And that exercise was undertaken with a bid for us to engage much more deeply, for them to understand some of the things we do, so that they are able to then provide one, effective oversight, and of course they give us the required support that we need to undertake our mandate effectively. And it was a worthwhile experience from both sides, if I may say so. I think one of the most rewarding feedback that I got was the statement from 1 or 2 honorable members that were keen to then take us to their respective constituencies for us to better explain the benefits of the employee compensation scheme to their members of their constituency. And I thought that you know, if it kind of showed me that what we intended was achieved, because we had educated them much more deeply as to the benefits, and they saw those benefits, they understood it, and they wished for their members to also understand it in that light. And so that was a good one from that.
Are there any plans by NSITF to ensure that it's not just the public and private sector workers that are aware of the benefits of you know, being part of NSITF by contributing their own quota to the system? What is the plan of NSITF towards capturing informal workers?
In my view, the informal sector are part of the private sector. So from our perspective, there's the public sector, which comprises the federal government, state government, local government employees, you know, and then there's the private sectors, which is everybody that is not part of that public sector setup. So an informal sector will be part of that. So within that informal sector, within that private sector is the informal sector, which in our estimation is the most critical element of, you know, of that private sector, because when you look at the workforce, Nigerian workforce, the informal sector constitutes almost 70% of that, you know, that setup. And if we're able to crack that, if we're able to provide the necessary, you know, cover for them, then we would have, you know, been able to, you know, reach a very large segment of our people. But I think the critical nature of it is that because they are of different nature, you must be able to tailor, you know, and some form of product that suits that what will work for an Okada rider will not work for a tailor, for instance, because they are, you know, prone to all sorts of different accidents framework. So, but we're thinking about it. Where you know, we hopefully will be engaging with Smeden to really use their database and use their own platform to also push the agenda. Part of our efforts with regards to informal sector is also to undertake certain health and safety training and awareness, so that we can reduce the threshold for accidents and incidents around where they work and all of that. And one of the things that we're also thinking about is also to engage from an association-led relationship, because you find from the informal sector, you find association of Okada riders, association of tailors, so given the loose nature of their setup, I think we're better off approaching it from that you know, association level, so that then they can really, you know, dovetail back into the informal sector. But that's really without a doubt a critical part of where we're looking at in order to boost compliance across the country.
With the rate of poverty level in the country, there is that growing need of social security. And I wouldn't know if NSITF can also provide such services.
Yes, we can. And, you know, when we speak about social security in a broader sense, there are different elements to it. There is out of work, you know, depending on, you know, where you are. There is, you know, out of work social support. There is child benefit. There are, you know, so what we focus on at the moment is employee compensation, which is that if you're working and you're injured, you know, there is accident, death, or injury as a result of your work, then we will provide a social insurance, you know, a compensation or claim in that regard. That's an element of, you know, social security. But I mean, if you look at NSITF Act in itself, it has made provision for a robust, you know, social security services, you know, that cuts across all of these, you know, parts of social security that I spoke about. But from my own perspective is that we need to focus on the employee compensation scheme and do it well. You know, if we do it well, we will have been seen to contribute our quota to the economic productivity of Nigeria, and then everybody can take benefit of that. And if you do it well, it might also require less of other auxiliary social, you know, security that is required. There's no need. If you look at the structure that we provide, if you're injured as a result of work, we'll provide you with, you know, disability support and all of that. Then there's no need for you to be claiming out of work, you know, benefits. There's no need for you to claim certain benefits if those things are there. So they can actually work to reduce dependency on other sort of claims that are there. But we don't have those sort of claims in Nigeria. So the one that is mandated, let us do it well, let us effectively do it. And then, of course, I know that government is working on other aspects of social security, you know, all of this poverty alleviation initiatives that there are. All of those can take care of, some other aspect of it. But for those that are working and contributing to the productivity, I think this is an important social safety net for them. Translate to about 130,000 employees. We paid billions in compensation. In terms of health and safety, we've trained over 25,000 employers in terms of health and safety initiatives. But that's a far cry from where we want to be. If you understand that all of the public sector, with the exception of the Nigerian military or the Nigerian armed forces, are supposed to be, subscribers to this, then you understand that it's a far cry. If you understand that all of the state governments, all of the local governments, every employer of labor above 5, anybody that employs anybody above 5 employees are supposed to be subscribers. So your tailors with 5, tailors in the office, your fashion designer with 10 people, everybody is supposed to be. So it's really a far cry from where we want to be. But I think that one of the mitigating or militating factor against that is lack of awareness. I think that from the feedback that I get in engaging with people, when you tell them what those benefits are, when you tell them, look, we can do this, we're doing that, then they really want to be part of it. So what we've committed to doing going forward is to increase our awareness initiatives, to let people understand what they stand to benefit if they subscribe to the scheme, and that's what we'll be doing going. Public sector side, we're also committed to undertaking a lot of engagement with the key critical stakeholders, from of course the head of service to the secretary to the government of the federation, to the head of different ministries, departments and agencies, to state governors, to local government chairmen. We'll be reaching out to not necessarily but to show what the benefits are. And I think in a very simple term, from the micro and macro level, is that whatever we do does have an impact on productivity of the community, of the states, and of the nation. And it's a win-win for everybody. So we hope to be making that point aggressively.
Talking about implications, you spoke very well about the implications of more subscribers coming on board to join NSITF. Any legal backing towards ensuring that the NSITF exercises powers or its role in the society? The
positive implication for compliance is that the more the fund has, the more we're able to undertake, make claims and compensation and relieve some of this burden even from the employers. Because, I mean, typically what will happen if your employee is injured as a result of working for you, they will come for you for some form of payments. You'll be responsible for their hospital bills, you'll be responsible for, all of those associated costs. And we're saying that we can bear that with minimal cost to you, just a percentage of the 1% of the payroll. So the positive implication is there. Of course, the legal implication of your non-compliance is that we can, of course, sue you. We can claim those payments, in arrears, and because we have the power to inspect your books, we have the power to enter into your premises, and and look at your books and determine whether you are paying the appropriate amount. And of course, there is incarceration, that goes with that if any person or director, is found to be, willfully disobeying the law. And part of our engagement, if you recollect, with the National Assembly is also to look for more, enforcement teeth, so to speak, to get people, because I believe that we need much more legal backing to undertake much more vigorous enforcement. Because you're not doing anybody a favor. It's really for the entire ecosystem, and the more we all contribute into that fund, the more we are safeguarding and sustaining our economic productivity and economic sustainability. So we would engage with the National Assembly to look at it. Presently, arising from that engagement, we're also looking at the law to look at, you know, all of the aspects of our operations to see where we can, given our experience in operating that scheme in the last, you know, decade, to see what we need to do to then amend the law to bring it to reality, and part of that will be robust enforcement of the law, you know, and the mechanisms to do that.
Is there any case you'd like to share with us that probably caught your attention and you would like to share to the public so people will understand the role of NSITF?
There are several. I mean, like I said, these are not just numbers. These are people's lives that are impacted on a daily basis. And until you see that close up, until you feel, you know, from where I stand, I understand the importance of that. And then we will hear from people that are benefiting from that. You will know that the work that we do here can be impactful to people. I make particular reference to the video that I saw at the retreat about a couple of people, but there was one particular one that resonated with me about a woman that has lost her husband. Their husband was killed while going to work early in the morning, and I mean that the experience, the killing itself was, of course, the fact was traumatizing, but I think it was the effect of this, compensations that came with it, and the, continuous compensation that she gets to, get her body and soul together, send her family to school, was touching. And that's when it dawned on me that, look, we're doing, something good, and we can do more if all stakeholders, and including employers, employees, and everybody understand the importance and the impact that those support have on particularly affected families. And we are committed to doing more. We're committed to improving our services. We're committed to meeting the challenges of, doing all of this work. We're also committed to get the feedback from doing it, because there are, from our side, there are a lot of improvements that we must make to bring us, up to speed with people's expectation. So we're committed to all of that, and we will continue to focus on those issues.
So finally, what should subscribers be expecting from NSITF, and those that are also willing to subscribe, what should be their expectations from you, maybe in the next 2 years?
Yes, so I mean, from an expectation angle is for us, we want to be an organization that is easily accessible, so to speak. We want to make our processes much more nimble, much more user-friendly, such that people are able to come to us, interact with our platform in a much more easy way. So in that regard, part of our initiative is to digitalize some of our operations, such that you don't have to, stress whenever you engage with us. Most importantly is to see enhanced and increased claims payment. Of course, I understand from feedback that those claims process may be a bit cumbersome. We're looking to, streamline them to make them, quicker, faster, and more accessible. In a whole, I also imagine that they will see a much more changed organization. The culture will be much more private sector driven, given that, yes, a large percentage of our activities will be, undertaking, interfacing with the private sector, either informal sector, either the established formal sectors, and all of that. So we want to have an organization that is dynamic enough to interact both with the public and the private sector, using cutting edge technology to do that, and basically see an organization that they can be proud to associate with, and we're committed to taking this organization to that level.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
And that's all we can take on today's edition of the program. Join us next week for a fresh edition of the show. I am Sharon Ijason. Thanks for watching, and remember that labor creates wealth.